Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.
Hello and welcome to Nirmal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiral Dadia. We have with us Mr. Kailash Lalpuria, Executive Director and CEO at Indo Count Industries, joining in. Welcome to the show, Mr. Lalpuria, and always a pleasure to speak to you and have you on our show. Mr. Lalpuria, my first question coming to you over here is with regards to the kind of impact that we've seen with regard, in terms of COVID on different businesses. However, for Indo Count Industries, FY21 has been way better than FY20. What has kept the momentum going in spite of all the, barriers that we had due to COVID?
First of all, good afternoon, and Hiral, nice speaking to you. And it is always a pleasure to talk to you. A good afternoon to everybody. Uh, the home has become a center stage of our life and lifestyle. Therefore, the work from home culture has triggered the higher consumption of home textile. So the home textile demand has gone up in all the developed countries. USA being our large market, and because as a company we are well positioned there with a complete product portfolio, good customer base, and a good performance over all this year, we have been able to capture this demand from the market of home textile. And we are also supplying to almost 54 countries, and we have supported throughout our customers and our customer centric organization. So with our product portfolio, with our service levels, we have been able to capture this demand. And that's why you see a growth in our revenue. And even this, despite challenging environment of COVID, we have been able to, use our capacities and capabilities in the right manner and adapt to the situation quickly. So we have built ourselves as a reliable organization all the way, and that has prompted the increase in our sales revenue despite these challenges.
Right. So with all of this, even the profits have almost improved three times, four times. Are you expecting this to continue, and is this sustainable?
This is sustainable as we are well positioned, and with a good product mix, better realization, leveraging our operational efficiencies, and a good customer base, we will be able to absorb this growth and demand as well as improve our margin profile. We have ventured into fashion bedding, utility bedding, and in the last 3 years, we have been able to build these businesses. We are also focusing on B2C, D2C, as well as the domestic market. So the growth drivers as well as the margin providers will improve, are sustaining the margin going forward.
Okay. And overall, if you see in terms of FY21, you'd given a volume guidance of around 72 to 75 million meters. Have we met the same, or do you think we've outperformed on that front?
We have outperformed as we have clocked almost 78.1 million meters over and above the 75 million meters. This was on the basis of, as I mentioned, about having the capacity and capability as well as our good positioning in the marketplace. Also, I would like to mention that India as a country is also well positioned, to absorb this growth in the home textile market, because we have large players which has vertical operations, and over the last 2 decades, India has performed well in all the developed economies and have delivered to the desired levels of the brands and the retailers. So I think going forward with the good order book position, we also have provided a margin guidance of 85 to 90 million meters for FY22. And we hope that this will sustain because of the increase in the home textile consumption.
Okay. And what is the kind of volume growth you're looking at with regards to FY22?
As I mentioned, we have given a volume guidance of 85-90. So we feel that there will be a growth of almost 15% CAGR going forward.
Okay. And clearly, what has been the impact of COVID, especially on the supply chain side?
Yes, there were challenges on the supply chain side as there was a mismatch in cotton earlier. So the
Hmm.
cotton prices went up, the raw material prices went up. Then we saw a shortage of containers.
Hmm.
Then there were issues with the Suez Canal, and there were issues with logistics also, as there were lockdowns between different states, which hampered the movement of goods from one state to other. And even in our state also, we faced the COVID issues and lockdowns. So there were challenging times, but I would like to hear thank you our team for working hard, and despite this all these challenges have done extremely well into bringing up and absorbing the demand from the market and serving the customers much better.
Okay. So with all these challenges, Mr. Lalpuria, did costs go up in this year?
Marginally, we saw some challenges on the cost, but because of our operating leverage, because
Hmm.
of reduction in selling expenses and exhibition expenses and traveling expenses, etc., we were able to curtail some of the expenses. But at the same time, we invested into technology, we invested into digitalization,
Hmm.
more automation, and the improved efficiency of the people, brought in about a sea change into the performance of the company.
Okay. And with this, now if you have to look at exports as well as domestic markets, which are the growth areas which have supported in this year?
Both, like what we have seen in the export market, US being our large market shareholder, we have done extremely well there because US has grown substantially. The big box retailers who we were
Hmm.
selling essentials have clocked good numbers, and they have shown solidarity into buying. And the domestic market also, in spite of the challenges which we have on the lockdown side, we were able to improvise our numbers, in the domestic market as well. So we expect like to grow here too, as we had launched 3 years back Boutique Living, our aspirational brand in the marketplace, which has been quite well acknowledged by the consumers.
Hmm.
And today we are present in more than 20 states and having almost 500 point of sales. We are also present in LFS, and we have done well on the e-commerce side as well. So we feel that going forward, the domestic market also will improve, and we have projected FY23 at almost 4% of our 3% of our revenue.
Hmm.
And in the export market also, we are seeing good traction, as once the FTA with Europe and UK are signed, that market also will open up. And once the COVID uh, decreases, we will see an uplift into the home textile demand, which will provide us enough opportunity to grow in the coming year.
Okay. And with this growth, what percentage of our revenues come from exports and what percentage comes from domestic sales right now? And do we see that revenue mix changing?
Our total retail sales currently are at 1% of our revenue, and we also have some yarn sales. Overall, our revenue is 93% from exports and 7% from local sales.
Hmm. Okay. And with regards to yarn and cotton prices, what's the trend you're expecting going ahead?
See, India is a cotton surplus country,
Hmm.
and whenever there is a good monsoon, and we are able to cultivate a good quantity of cotton, and that is keeping up us as a country uh, ahead of the curve, for cotton textile exports. So being, a cotton surplus country, we feel that going forward we need to observe how the monsoons pan out and how the COVID situation pans out in the rural areas,
Hmm.
to see that how much the sowing happens. But taking into consideration the meal use, because of the COVID situation, the meal use has also dampened to some extent, and the quantities have gone down in meal consumption. So the stock to end use ratios are good. We feel that they will remain similar to today's situation at around 44,000 to 45,000
Hmm.
is a candy.
Okay. And overall, with regards to online sales, how big a business do you think that could be over the next 3 years for IndoCount?
We have done extremely well on the online
Hmm.
front. We had a good established backup systems and processes in our US company, and we have done extremely well there serving the online businesses. In India too, we are seeing a good traction.
Hmm.
So we have given an indication that currently we are at 4% of our revenue, which will grow to almost 8% of our revenue in the coming year. We are launching more B2C D2C brands, which will provide us enough opportunities to expand our market share,
Hmm.
both in the domestic and the export market. And we are also investing into more digitalization, which will help us serve our customers better.
Okay. And with regards to, a new product in innovations, you have boutique living and layers, which has been the latest that has been launched. How has the response been?
The response is very good. See, India is a young country, and
Hmm.
we feel that there has to be an aspirational brand in India which satisfies the brand desires of the young population. So 3 years back, we launched Boutique Living, which was quite very well accepted in the marketplace. And as we see, there are only a few players in India who has got a brand presence in the on the home textile front. There are enough opportunities for brand to do well. Subsequently, we launched last year Layers, which is a value-driven brand, and in which we added up all the categories of home textile to complete our product portfolio. So now with a complete product portfolio with these two brands, we have been accepted well in the marketplace in all the distribution channels, whether it is LFS, whether it is e-commerce, whether it is distribution based, pan India. So I think going forward, we will see a good traction in our domestic presence, and we will carry out a focus approach to see how we can further grow our brand presence in pan India.
Right. Another question that crops up, Mr. Lalpuria, is that we've covered completely the bedding side of business. I mean, from all ranges that there is availability. Now, do we see an extension there coming in, say, getting into toiletries in the form of towels, etc.?
So currently we are focusing on the bed linen side of the business because this is a
Hmm.
sizable business in home textiles.
Okay.
Almost I can say that 50% by value is the bed linen. So we feel that there is enough scope to grow both in the export and the domestic market. Just to give you a quick example, like in the US, we were catering to the sheet side of the business, which
Hmm.
was just 4 billion at retail. And we started 3 years back catering to fashion bedding, utility, and institutional bedding, which was another $10 billion target market, in
Hmm.
which India was not present at all, like almost at a negligible presence of 7 to 8%, whereas China was dominating. So we
Hmm.
saw a big opportunity venturing into this category of product. So we added up another 10 billion target market to our existing 4 billion. So suddenly we have a 14 billion target market to cater. Similarly, in the domestic area, we see that bed linen consumes a lot of value. And if we focus on these categories and provide the customers the right solution and resonate with them going forward, I think we as a company will see a big growth in the bed linen segment alone. Of course, we are open for all kind of opportunities in the home textile area, and as and when the board decides, we will tread onto it.
Hmm.
India is a large consuming country, and India's economy also growing almost to 5 trillion as indicated by our prime minister and other economists. So we feel that we are in the right country to expand our business.
Right. So with all of this, where does our capacity stand at in total right now, and what's the utilization?
The utilization currently with 78 million against 90 million capacity which we have is around 87%. Going forward, we have added up by debottlenecking our current capacity by almost 18 million. So we will by H2 stand at 108 million of capacity.
Hmm.
This will enable us to serve our customers both in the global market and in the domestic market very well.
Right. And the Kolhapur operations have been shut due to COVID. How much production loss are we seeing at that plant, and when do we plan to resume?
The Kolhapur district collector has given guidance according to which we close down our operation till 23rd of this month. So as we speak, we have resumed the operation and it does not have any material impact on our business because it was just for 8 days.
Okay.
Having
And
said that, we are taking due course of precautions to see that all our employees and our workplaces are provided with all the necessary safety instructions.
right. And overall, with regards to capacity expansion that we are looking at, how are we looking to fund the same?
We are looking at funding this with both internal accruals and part of debt. And this is around 200 crores which we are spending and will be completed by H2 FY22. And so this will be funded both by internal accruals and debt.
Okay. And by when do we see the fundraising happening?
As we speak, like we are arranging for ordering the machinery. So whatever funds are needed, we are financing it through our internal accruals. And once when we need some more funds, we will definitely approach our bankers.
Right. And very lastly, Mr. Lalpuria, so FY22 and 23, what's the kind of growth that we could expect?
We have already given a volume guidance of 85 to 90 million meters. So
Correct.
we are expecting a growth of around 15% CAGR. So as we see, the trend is continuing in home textile consumption. And this will continue and provide the company more opportunities as we are well placed with the kind of being a debt free company and with proper capital adequacy, a complete product profile, a good customer base, and India being also well positioned in with raw material. I think the future looks very bright to us. We have already given an indication of doubling our revenues in the next 4-5 years, and we feel that the company is poised for the next cusp of growth.
Absolutely. And I think the trajectory also looks very strong, taking into consideration the kind of numbers FY21 has posted. Thank you, Mr. Lalpuria, so much for joining us on the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you and see companies growing like this. Stay safe. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well, and
Thank
speak
you,
to you
Hiral.
soon again.
Thank you, Hiral. Thanks
Thank you.
for providing this opportunity. Yeah.